Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about pressure sensors. Their types, their uses, what it does, and how to test them.
Alright, here are some types for pressure sensors. We've got the capacitance discharge sensor, the piezoelectric device, the Wheatstone bridges, piezoresistive devices, potentiometric sensors, and pressure switches. Now we're going to talk about some of the uses for these sensors.
Alright, so now we're going to talk about pressure sensors, their uses. They're widely used in cars nowadays. We got oil pressure sensors. We got fuel pressure sensors. There's also AC sensors for high and low ends. There's MAP sensors, which stands for manifold absolute pressure. There's TPMS sensors for your tires. There's pressure in your tires, but these are just a few examples of where pressure sensors might be used on cars nowadays. And this is a short list, but now we can show you.
Alright, so we're going to explain to you the basic function of these pressure sensors. So these pressure sensors take the pressure they read and convert it into an electrical signal that the computer can read. These sensors read the pressure of gases and liquids. They're composed of many different materials such as plastics, metals, ceramics, quartz, crystals, and etc. But they all work the same and off the same principle of converting pressure into voltage signal. And because of this, we can test and diagnose them the same way. So now we're going to move on over to the car and explain to you how we can do that.
Alright, for our car, we're going to be talking about a 97 Buick Skylark green machine. We're going to show you a little bit on how the MAP sensor works. We've already successfully disconnected our MAP sensor here. This is the sensor itself. If you look, there's a 3-pin configuration. That's the standard for a pressure sensor. So what we'll have here is one of these will be power, one of them will be ground, and one will be a signal wire, which is output from the sensor input to the computer. So what we can do is, right now it's going to be, if you look on your scan tool on the PIDs that we've been doing, it will show, it measures in vacuum, right? It's going to show 0. It's going to show no vacuum because we got the sensor unplugged. And what you can do to test if the system's good is you'll jump one of these, like the power side, over to the signal wire, and you're essentially just cutting out the switch, allowing good continuity straight through. So it's going to go right to the other extreme end, which is going to show a crap ton of vacuum, you know, just all kinds of stuff. But what we can do is we can't just start jumping these because one of these is power and one of them's ground. So we can get our test light. Alright, so now we got our key on, so we're going to start getting power on some of these. So as you can see, test light's lighting up, but just barely. This is supposed to be a 5 volt source, so that's our power. I'm going to check at this probe. Got nothing. Check here, nothing. Alright, we'll switch the test light over, start checking for grounds. Alright.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, so now that we got the key on, we got ground at this terminal. Got nothing right here. We already determined that's our positive terminal. So we got positive source right here, ground source right here. So this is going to be our signal wire. So now we're going to hook up a scan tool. We're going to view our PIDs in a graphing mode. We can look, when we jump these, we should be able to see it go from 0 inches of mercury to just some extreme end, like 30.
Alright, so we're going to test using our scanner and test light here to confirm that the computer is getting all the signals that it needs and that this wiring is functional. So I've got my test light here set up on power on the battery, and I'm going to be testing the signal wire here. And we're going to be looking at our graph here on the scanner. We can see that it is at 2.9, flatlined at 2.9 here. And we're going to go ahead and watch that as I touch the test light to the signal wire forward probe here. So let's go ahead and look at that graph, see where it goes. And touching it now, and we can see that it jumps to the other extreme from nearly 0 up to 30.7, and this is reading in inches of mercury. And we can verify that the signal wire is working here. We tested for power and ground and got both, and we can confirm that if there is an issue, it's not with the wiring here, and we would have to look towards the pressure sensor at this point.
Alright, so now, since we already looked at our map sensor, determined that if there is any problem, it's going to be in that sensor. We can look at this is for the AC high side sensor. So you can see I took it off of right there, looks like that. So we can basically perform the same tests on all these sensors. So we can look for our powers and grounds, so I'll plug this in right here. Got the test light hooked up to power, so I'm checking for grounds right now. Got ground at that terminal right there. Alright, nothing right there. Check the power at these. Where's the forward probe? Alright, so now that we got the probe back, we got test light hooked up to ground, checking for power. You can see we got a little bit of power right there, just a little. It's going to be another 5-volt system. So we found out this one's ground and this one's power. So this is going to be our signal wire at the top here. So looking at this scan tool, we got the AC high side test. Now you got the graph here, but if you watch these numbers, it's saying negative 13.9, and that's pressure. So it's saying we got basically vacuum right now, which is inaccurate. And when you watch, when I jump this signal wire to power from the test light, because I got the test light hooked up to power now, and you'll see it'll go to the other extreme end, because once again we're bypassing the sensor. So it's negative 13.9. When I put this on there, 451.9 psi. So obviously that's not going to happen, but that tells us our system all the way up to this sensor is good. We got power, we got ground, and we got the sensor telling the computer where the psi is at, so we can determine if anything's a problem. It's our sensor.
Now that we've shown you some of the uses and types of pressure sensors and how to diagnose them, you can now come across any pressure sensor and be able to test it and diagnose it. They are all different, but they all work off the same principle, and now you know what to do when you come across one of those that you suspect might be faulty. Thanks for checking out our video and learning a little bit more about pressure sensors.